My name is Luis from the World of Entertainment podcast. You can also check my webpage, www.luisreviewer.com. So this episode is kind of an interesting one for me. Anyway, I just finished seeing this miniseries, and I just felt like I had to do this video quickly because I didn't want to forget details or forget things that impacted me. So the series is from 2018, so it's not really recent by no means, but I think it's a very interesting miniseries, and it's called Waco, starring Michael Shannon, Taylor Kitsch, Melissa Benoist from Supergirl, and John Leguizamo. Uh, so I think by just saying the name, I guess everyone might know what the show is about. But just in case, I don't remember the year exactly. I think it was 1990 to 93. The Branch Davidians were a religious organization that were called a cult. Um, and they lived in this farmhouse in Texas. And they ATF they were investigating them, and they began a raid on their compound, which escalated to a 51-day standoff with the FBI. Now the events folded tragically in the end. 76 people died, and 25 of them were children. So that's always had, no matter the guilty or no matter what happened. So I want to say first that my expressions will be based on the document, on the film, on the series. I don't have. I try to do research, but it's all one side saying one thing, and the other side defending themselves, and you don't know who to believe. Me personally, I don't trust the government either, because they can manipulate the media. That's just me, but I'll get into that later. First of all, the show, the quality of the show, I have to say, it was well done. And one of the things that I think it worked for me was that it was based on two books. So just by that, you're not getting one perspective. So you're getting the writers looking at two perspectives for the story. And when you put them together, you have a show that, as best as it can, shows you the two sides. And I think that's what happened here. One book from which the series base was written by David Thibodeau, who survived the siege. He was in the house, and he survived. And the other book from which it was taken was written by the negotiator of the FBI, who was part of the negotiating process in Waco until he was relieved, because the other FBI didn't agree with his tactics. So, so the show begins showing gradually the lives of the two principal people, the Davidians and Gary, which was the negotiator. We see Gary in another situations where he begins to see that the FBI's tactics were getting more towards the violent warlike tactics. And I think he did not agree with that based on the show. And from then on, we progress to David Koresh and his beginnings and the lives of those who were there until the tragic end. I mean, really, I was really compelled. I mean, I finished it in 2 days because I knew, I saw years ago a good documentary on what happened there. So I knew the case. But there's one thing the documentary can project. But when you're watching it as a series and you have good actors, you get involved in it. At least I tend to get really involved in it. And by the ending of it, I was really shocked, even though I knew it was going to happen. Um, so it's an interesting show. I mean, it's on Netflix. That's where I saw it. Beautifully acted. I mean, Michael Shannon is a tremendous gifted actor, and he played the role of Gary, the negotiator. Um, to my surprise, there was a Culkin in there, Kira Culkin. I think he's the little brother, obviously, to Macaulay and no, I'm not sure. Was it Kira? Because Kieran Culkin is the other one. I'm checking. Anyway, I don't know which Culkin is, but there was a little brother from Macaulay Culkin in the show. Um, and he was really good in it. I mean, he was really good at it. Rory Culkin was his name. He's a smaller brother from Macaulay, and I think it's Kieran Culkin, something like that. I'm sorry. But anyway, so I mean, what I liked from it, I think, because based on the outside information that I had, I thought these people were just crazy. And, you really can't say that. Now, I can't defend David Koresh, and he was the real villain. I think the show will show you that the real villain there were two people, the FBI and David Koresh. People followed him. They were good people, innocent people, who, in my opinion, did not deserve to go out like that, to be treated like that. Because whatever criminal activities David Koresh was doing out of manipulation and other things that they might have not even known. So I think the FBI were right in investigating this man. They were right in wanting to really take a deep look at what was going on there. But I think they could have had better ways to do it. There's no mistake about that to me. And I think, I mean, he even said it. Why didn't you catch me when I was outside jogging? Why do it like this? So I'm sure that the series does include stuff that was added just on the terms of dramatic purposes. So I will do, like I always do, my research to see what kind of things were true, what kind of things were not. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if the show really wanted to put the FBI as really bad people, or but I don't know. I have to say that no matter what allegations they might have had or what their investigations might have had, I think they handled it wrong. I mean, they waited 51 weeks, and by the end, they just let's gas them. When, based on what I saw on the show, they already had a deal. But it's easy for us who are not there to think clearly. So I cannot blame per se the people that were involved. I do have to say that I believe, based on what I've seen in the footage, I don't believe it was a mass suicide like Jonestown. I think the FBI might have said that in the news conference just to cover that they made a mistake, That's it. I don't think they wanted to kill all those people. It just went wrong. But I don't think it was a mass suicide because the Jonestown people, I think it was planned. And it was done so quickly. These people shot cops, just like Jonestown. Jonestown immediately knew that they were going to be either arrested or whatever, and they did the mass suicide thing. These guys didn't do that. These guys really looked, like I said, apparently, looked for ways to get to resolve the issue peacefully. And there were people there who were just manipulated by David. That's why I do believe, as a Christian myself, you have to read the Bible yourself and think and pray and whatever, but you cannot base your beliefs on what one man says and follow him blindly. Because when a prophet tells you that he can sleep with your wife, but you can't, come on, the Bible doesn't condone that. No, no. I mean, when those behaviors were going on in the Bible, Jesus condemns it. So if you read it, I think you will know. So I think those people, sadly, were just too blind in wanting to believe this man that it cost them to die. That's why I hold accountable David Koresh and the FBI for what happened. Because as much as you get angry at people who follow these leaders, because David Koresh is not the first one, and sadly, he's not the last one. But this sort of thing should never happen again. I mean, because what they said, it was true. They were not doing anything to the people. Now, the part of the children now, of course, they should have investigated that. But I don't know. I mean, the series does a good job in making you question a lot of things. Now, I want a little bit of topic in sharing my opinions on it. And like I said, I'm based on my opinions of what I saw in the documentary. And the documentary could have been biased against the FBI. I admit that. But taking all those things aside, it was a good show. I mean, it had the suspense aspect. Intriguing because you're given an inside look at what these guys were going through inside, which made it interesting, at least for me. And Michael Shannon, what a great performance, and really the whole cast. It was angry. I mean, I was angry at some points because you kind of feel on one side how this guy just couldn't care about the people he was holding inside, because they were not hostages, but they were manipulated, and the FBI treating them as if there were not people in there until it was too late. Because there was one moment in the series that broke me a little bit, and it was this figure, Mitch from the FBI, who wanted to violently get those people out. When he saw that the whole thing went wrong, he realized, and he tried to save the women and children, but it was too late. It is a heartbreaking situation, no matter which way you look at it. I have to say that it was really sad, and I hope that something like that never happens again, and nor Jonestown. I like a quote from Bob Dylan in one of his songs. He simply says this: "Don't follow leaders." So I do respect leaders. I might support a leader, but the moment I feel that is not on the path that I think is right, I think it's time to stop following that leader. And I think that's what I hope people learn from this series. You cannot find. I mean, there are some ways you can verify the truth of what a prophet is saying. So anyway, that's my thoughts on the series. It's Waco. Check it out on Netflix. It's a good show, and I'm gonna try to keep doing these videos. Hopefully, I'm gonna try to be doing about music and all about that. But this particular show, I couldn't write it. I had to speak it because of the impact it had on me. And based on that, I had to really just communicate it first in video, and then I'll do the words. So I hope you enjoy the show if you see it, and I'll see you around. Take care. Hope you're well.